over the proposed rural school bus system or program, which has begun already in parts of the country. And of course, you would be aware that a huge political row has broken out over this issue between the government and the opposition. And the transport minister is holding a media briefing this morning at 11. So we will interrupt our program to bring that to you at 11. Yeah. And that's an issue that has taken off like wildfire across the country. And yesterday afternoon, on Nationwide at 5, on Nationwide at 5, we spoke to 3 principals of schools, one in Portland, one in St. Catherine, one in Manchester, as well as the president of the National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica, Stuart Jacobs, to canvass their views, their opinions on the program and what it is seeking to do and the experiences of their school communities with the transport that is now being provided. And what struck me in that discussion yesterday, not surprisingly, what it stood out was the fact that all 4, the 3 principals and the president of the National Parent Teachers Association, all of them agreed that this is a program that is long overdue. They welcomed it. Yes, they welcomed it. Yeah. And listening to them was very instructive. Shaloy Smikler has more on their responses to us yesterday in this report.
The rural school bus program has been attacked by the opposition PNP as the importation of old buses that risks endangering the lives of rural children. But speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday, President of the National Parent Teachers Association, Stuart Jacobs, dismissed the PNP's criticism. He says the nation's parents are celebrating the program.
The parents of Jamaica are dancing with glee and appreciation because 2 years ago, the NPCAJ in our press release on opening a school, and last year, the opening of the school year, we asked, it was our second point on the press release, asking for a public transport system. We use the word dedicated transport system. And it is music to our ears to dance to now that finally it's coming through. We're talking about the fact that, and let's look at it, based on how this bus system is going to be set up, and if it works this way, it's going to be an extension of the school.
The buses will feature a dedicated warden, speed monitors, and security cameras. For principal of Norwich Primary School in Portland, Joy Thompson, the pilot of the program has eased the transportation woes of her students.
They look forward in the afternoon to go outside and wait for this bus. Many times before we have the school bus, students would be at the gate sometimes after 5 in the afternoon, after 6 in the evening, all because of where we are located. So when the buses and taxis are coming from Port Anthony, when they reach Norwich, they cannot pick up anyone else. And so our students, they used to suffer. They reach home very late. That was very concerning.
Over in St. Catherine, the principal of Mount Russell Primary, Kevin Whittick, described the program as a plus. He says if it's implemented right, teachers could also benefit.
I know that this system is for students per se, but it will have a great impact on teachers too, because we have teachers who live outside the immediate vicinity of the school, and they also benefit from that system. If the access is a reliable public transport system, they are more likely to remain employed also.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Shalo. And it's Norwich Primary, yeah? And that's in Portland, yes? And you heard the president of the Stuart Jacobs of NPTAJ, Stuart Jacobs, say the parents are dancing. They're dancing. They're happy. Long overdue for this. Yes? Mr. Jacobs didn't mince words yesterday. He's suggesting that the opposition's plan to provide a subsidy to taxi operators to transport the rural children is a backward move.
The same taxis that we are trying to avoid, the same taxis that drive carelessly and play the lewd music and the nasty conversation that our children are fucked up like sardines. That is what we are trying to abstain from, to move away from. You are saying to me that you give them a subsidized price for our children to go with them to do what? When what we have is a big bus, safety, control, comfort, reliable with time for our children to reach a school comfortable, to learn and go back home on time, to do their homework, their home chores, go to bed and wake up the next morning in comfort, transportation.
According to Mr. Jacobs, the plan is irresponsible.
Why should we as parents even think of subsidizing, of going to where we are fleeing from? We are fleeing from those taxes that have no regard for our children, none whatsoever. Why should we go there? It's irresponsible to even think that we would ever do that.
Stuart Jacobs, the president of the National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica. He and the principals were speaking on Nationwide at 5 yesterday afternoon. In the meantime, a number of people, or several people, have been asking, haven't we been losing our children in public passenger vehicles for several years? Well, we have put our fingers, or we have been provided with some figures from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, on that. The JCF is advising us that 9 children have been killed while traveling on public passenger vehicles over the last 4 years. The police data say, or the police figures suggest 65 children have been killed in fatal accidents since 2022. Yeah, since 2022, 65 of our children have been killed in fatal accidents. Of that number, 19 were traveling in private motor cars. And from a parish perspective, more children were injured in fatal collisions in Manchester and Portland. Yeah? As we say, Manchester and Portland. Yesterday, we had the principal of Homewood in Manchester, Hidron Makulski, and he said they lost 8 between 2008 and 2013. Yeah? All right. So this morning, the transport minister, Daryl Vaz, will be having that media briefing that we're going to dip into at 11. Let's take the break and come back.
My hands were steady